All right, we got some more friends joining us.
Great.
All right, it looks like we are live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, right here on Zoom. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's call. This is the BeatCancer.Org Ask a Holistic Cancer Coach weekly call. The date is October the 17th of 2024. As a reminder, nothing that's said on these calls is intended to be taken as explicit medical advice. However, we are here to share and discuss educational information, share resources, point each other towards tools, and just discuss overall holistic health and wellness topics. For anyone that's joining us on our Zoom, you're welcome to chime in when appropriate and pitch your topic of discussion or ask your question. You're also welcome to, at any time, put a comment or question in the chat here on Zoom. For our friends on social media, you are welcome to put your question or comment in the comment section of whatever social media platform you are watching on, and we will get to your response as soon as we can. If you'd like to join us on the Zoom itself, you can do so by going to BeatCancer.org and then clicking on the weekly call button right at the top of the website and following the instructions there. And yeah, that's about all the announcements to get us started, unless Carl has anything else he'd like to add.
No, maybe we might want to just make an announcement about Annie Appleseed. The closing for the early bird pricing, I think, is the 31st of this month. So you got about 2 weeks to get in. A bunch of us from Beat Cancer are going down, Zach and I, and a few coaches, and we have some our social media guys that have been working for us are going to come down and do a bunch of taping. So we'll be getting stuff up on our social media platforms. We're excited about that. That's uh,
Absolutely.
that's in February, I believe,
That's correct. I
sometime. The
believe it
early
starts.
bird. What's that?
I was gonna say, I believe it begins on the 24th of February, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, but it's a great time. They bring in their own they bring in all their own food into the hotel, and the chefs they bring in their own chefs, and all the food provided over the weekend is very, very healthy. So it's a lot of fun. Some of the coaches here have been to an event or two down there. It's just a great time. It's just a great time for us to meet in person. I think it's so much fun to see, sit down with everybody and have food and tell stories and just see each other and feel each other's energy. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. For a reminder, that's the Annie Appleseed Project Conference. It's officially going on February 26th to March 1st of 2025. You can find more information about it at annieappleseedproject.org. That's ANNIE, appleseedproject.org. And again, this year, Beat Cancer will be officially sponsoring the event. And so myself and Carl will, of course, be there, as will a good handful of our coaches. We've had coaches even present at the conference before, like Catherine, who's on the call with us here tonight. And other coaches have gotten different opportunities there in years past and in this year coming up. So it's a wonderful time to not just connect with us as a Be Cancer community, but of course network outside of our organization and meet some other wonderful people as well.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. There's going to be some great speakers there. We know some of them. Come up and meet us, and we'll introduce you to the speakers personally. And yeah, it's a great time to meet some of your holistic cancer heroes.
Yeah. So we do encourage people to take advantage of the early bird pricing that will end at the end of this month, and prices will go up. And also, if you are interested in attending, rooms in the hotel itself do book up. So
Super
um,
fast. Yeah.
yeah, so we
And
do
we get
recommend.
zero for making this announcement. We're not saying this because we get something out of it. We're saying it because we actually love the people that are throwing the conference. Annie who had passed last year. We have been friends with Annie for 25 years in this with this organization and or more. You know, she was one of the pioneers with Susan, and yeah, good time.
Cool.
So
Cool.
if there's no questions yet, I'll give you a couple of
I have a question.
seconds to see if anybody comes up with a question. But my tinfoil hat is on and I'm ready.
I have a question.
Sure,
All right.
All right, it has to do with the Appleseed conference. Which
sure.
hotel is it? I couldn't find it anymore. I probably just missed it, but which
Um,
hotel do you know where it's at?
it should be on the website when you look for
I
the.
didn't go on the website.
It's being held
Okay.
in the conference and the hotel rooms are in the same hotel.
Okay.
And
I'll look at it. That's okay.
yeah. It's all on the page.
I already signed up for it. I'm just curious where I might be staying at.
Yeah. The rooms you have to book separately
Yeah.
from the conference ticket does not include the rooms. You have to book that separately.
Right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
you do get a discount because they block out a certain amount of rooms for the conference, but they do get sold up. So you'll get conference pricing if you get in quick. If not, you may or may not get a room at that hotel, which Zach and I didn't get a room at the hotel last year. We stayed about a block away in another hotel.
So it is the Embassy Suites by Hilton in West Palm Beach, Florida, on Belvedere Road.
Okay.
Belvedere.
Thank you.
Yeah, very fancy. Awesome.
It is so nice to see familiar faces. Hi, Catherine. It's been a while. And
Oh, you're on
Deborah.
mute again. Oh yeah, Deborah and Maya know each other.
Hi, Leah. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Marinette, everyone is here. Nice.
I think Marinette mentioned to me that she's gonna be listening in tonight, but I think she was a bit occupied with something.
Okay.
So she's
Yeah.
here. She's here in spirit and with her ears.
Okay.
Cool, Carl. I'll let you lead for a second. Let me just make sure these streams are monitored appropriately, and
Okay. Yep.
I'll get back on with you in a moment.
So who is coming to the conference?
I am.
Well,
Are you, Leah?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Are you going, Catherine?
No.
oh, it looks like
For the first
Oh, no.
time, believe it or not, I'm
Oh, wow.
going to the Algarve, to the Spain and Portugal for 6 weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
I was
Yeah.
chuckling. That's awesome.
I would probably choose that too over.
Well, when I presented with the opportunity to go, I thought I'm going to take that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't blame you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been invited to do some speaking while I'm there because I'm going to be in up to Holland. Well, I'm going to be there for 6 weeks, but I'm going to be
Nice.
going back down to Italy and doing some speaking there.
Well, good for you.
Well,
Excellent.
Okay. In the chat, someone from iPhone said hi.
That's
Timmy.
Craig. That's our friend Craig.
That's Craig. Okay. Hi, Craig.
What was that today? Where?
Was it? Yeah. It's in the chat today.
I don't even see that.
Marinette, she's going to the conference, and Deborah's going to the conference. So
I'm glad to hear this. Deborah, you're going to love it if you haven't been there.
Never been.
Yeah. Never
And the
been.
food is fab. I've never tasted holistic
Yeah.
food that tasted so great. Really, and it's vegan, no salt, no added sugar. It's just across the board some of the nicest meals I think I've ever had. And you think, oh, they're providing meals, you're thinking, oh my God, I can't imagine. Oh, you know what? They
Love the
are
chicken.
marvelous. And the hotel's good, the venue's beautiful, and all of the speakers, I've always enjoyed them.
That's awesome.
Great.
I have known Deborah for quite some time. So
Oh, is that right?
Thank you,
yeah.
Maya.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So any questions come in from online?
No, I'm looking around. We have a few people joining us, but nobody's pitched a particular question. quite yet, so we can get going however we'd like.
Okay, where's my tinfoil hat? Where the on. So uh it's just great to see some of the things we've been talking about for decades now coming out into the public consciousness and I would say a lot of it's because of RFK running for president and that this stuff is coming out. But regardless of that, some events have gone on recently, and they just had a um, I don't know 400,000 signatures on something or another, and they took it to Kellogg's corporate, and what they wanted to do was get all the food dyes out, get all the chemicals out of the cereal that's sold in America that has all these toxic chemicals, food dyes, and whatever else that aren't in the same exact cereal that's sold in Europe and other places in the world where those ingredients are banned. So why is it that the Americans are eating chemical crap and they sell a better version of that cereal with the exact same label, except for the ingredients part, to other countries? So they went there. It was a big deal. I forget like the food babe was there, and I forget all the big names. There was a lot of big name people there, and they were pretty much like, "Hey, get off my lawn." You know,
Wow.
they would not hear them out, even though they had all those signatures and everything.
You know,
So
my question on all this is why are people buying it? Right? You know,
yeah,
it
yeah.
it
Well,
ultimately
look,
doesn't matter what they're putting in these things if you don't go and buy it through conscious consumerism. And you know, it's I never
of
understood
course. I
the
mean, a lot of that stuff is mind control. I mean, my hat's still on, tinfoil hat. But there was a period in time, I don't know when it was, maybe the 50s or whatever. They started this whole ad campaign that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. And up until then, breakfast wasn't breakfast cereal. It wasn't even eggs and bacon. It was pretty much just leftovers from the night before. So people were eating very, very good food if they ate it all at breakfast. And the whole thing was about selling cereal.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. So all my life when I was growing up, it was Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and Captain Crunch commercials and Tony the Tiger. It's great, and that's what we grew up with, and that's what we asked for as kids. But my parents were hippies, so they were not into the Fruity Loops cereals. But we did eat Cheerios, which now we find that has so much glyphosate in it, it's almost toxic, right?
Mhm.
Besides all the other bad reasons. I mean, we're adults now, but when we were kids, that was what we begged for it
Yeah.
because it was all the commercials on TV that was during the cartoons when we were watching TV was geared to sell us that stuff. And America in general. They were sold on diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yeah. Have you heard about Food Babe?
Yeah, yeah, food babe.
Ben
Yeah.
and Nari, she has this whole entire campaign going against Kellogg.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying. They went to
Yeah,
Kellogg
they just did
corporate
that.
and Kellogg's was like, "Hey, get off my lawn."
Right. She got so mad and she just like going full speed right now on basically like protesting against Kellogg and collecting the petitions.
Yeah, she had
And
400,000 that she brought with her, signed right there, right
mhm,
to the corporate headquarters.
right. Lots
And
of
they wouldn't even
signature,
meet.
yeah, to change their ingredients.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Zach is 100% correct. Why eat it? Because it's ill-advised from a health standpoint anyway. But
Because,
that's not the point. The point is, why would they have crap ingredients for us in America that they don't put in other countries? That's really the question.
Yes.
Whether you eat it or not, that's a personal thing or your family thing. And from a health standpoint, it's probably ill-advised. But the question is why poison America?
Yeah.
Well, out of interest, in Canada, a lot of the Kellogg's products have more sugar and more sodium than in the US.
Yeah,
Well, US
And-
instead of sugar, they put other crap like
Yeah.
maltodextrin or any other things like
yeah,
that.
high fructose
Yeah.
corn syrup, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. But it most certainly lets you know that advertising works.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's great,
it is.
great. Yeah. So anyway, since I got coaches, knowledgeable coaches on the line, let's talk maybe about some of those chemicals that are in the cereals. Now we know, of course, there's atrazine, which is a pesticide that gets in and that messes with your endocrine. And Alex Jones was practically thrown off the internet for saying it was turning a frog's gay, but it was. He was
Yeah.
straight about it. It does mess with your endocrine that much. And but what about some of the dyes? I know there's dyes that cause cancer. There's other things that cause cancer. Glyphosate causes cancer for sure. And
Yeah.
so I'll open it up to that.
Yeah, I believe so. There's over 125,000 different chemicals in the food industry.
Say that again.
I said, I believe so. There's over 125,000 chemicals in the food industry.
No, they're just chemicals. They're not.
Well, included in the food that they sell
Yeah,
in processed food, in the box food.
right. So these foods or these chemicals, are they just on the grass list? Are they benign? Are they toxic? What do you know about that?
Well, if you look at the ingredients, there's nothing that you can understand, especially on the cereal box. If
Yeah.
you take the cereal box, I don't think so. There's anything left that we can understand in the ingredients except
Oats,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe one or
corn.
two like things in there, but the rest are all chemicals. And one cereal box has what 50, 60 different chemicals in them, 50 or to 60 different chemicals. That's a lot.
Yeah,
And this is only
it's
one cereal box.
on a cornflake, right? It should just be a cornflake, and that the worst case scenario is some sugar on it.
Sugar, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
right.
kind of crazy. I know that certain dyes cause, well, besides all the sugar that's in these cereals, cause ADD with the kids.
Yeah,
Other
they
dyes
do.
can cause.
Red dyes, yellow, all dyes, all colorings, they all artificial. They do cause damages to the cell because our body doesn't know how to process them. I mean, our body knows how to process, protein, fat, and fiber, but doesn't know how to process artificial colorings or any chemicals. It's hard for our body to do that. And that's where a lot of inflammation comes from. And that part, anyone else would like to add that? You can add it.
What
We
what is
got
that?
there. Kellogg.
Kellogg's.
You want to read out some ingredients
Well,
there?
it's interesting because my son just brought this home today.
Oh.
I'm lucky to have my son with me for a while. He's
Yeah.
moved back in. But it doesn't sound that bad. It says high protein, but it doesn't sound too bad.
Well, let's see.
This
What's
is
the
in
ingredients
Canada,
look like?
right? So this is
Yeah.
not the US. Let's make that caveat. This is a Canadian box.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. So, but there are things in there that, yeah, that like you don't need coarse. What is? There's just quite a few things that I'm not quite sure about.
Yeah, when they have more than like
Now, how do
7
you like this?
letters
Cholecalciferol, vitamin D3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't see anything too bad in there. And there isn't anything I can't pronounce. Usually I find out if I can't pronounce it, it shouldn't be in there.
Right.
If it
Yeah,
has
and there isn't anything I can't pronounce.
yeah.
And most of them are vitamin related products. But there's still a tremendous amount of sugar, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it's just,
but I'm thinking that where compared to some cornflakes and some other products that I've seen, and most certainly the sugar and the salt felt a little like when I compared to the American to the Canadian boxes when I brought them home when I'm down in the US, and that's going, hey, why is there a difference?
yeah.
They are really
And,
different.
and there is a difference. But I thought talking about it, I thought maybe I'll go check this out.
The why is almost any type of question you ask, like that's baffling. It doesn't make any logical sense at all.
None.
Why? And it's always traced back to money. It's always traced back to lobbying from certain industries,
Yes.
and the control they have over the, whoever they're trying to lobby to, and then 9 times out of 10, whoever's making the laws at that time moves out of the government sector and is now the CEO of that company and gets this huge golden parachute or winds up on the board, something like that, some cushy thing they get rewarded on the back end. And this isn't tinfoil hat stuff. This is all easily proven. It's a very incestuous circle that goes in between the lobbying, the government, and these big companies. It's not even up for debate at this point anymore. Well, there's another story that I saw since I'm on a roll, and 10 million pounds of meat of meat products. They were ready to eat products like chicken strips and stuff like that. 10 million pounds was just recalled.
What for?
God knows, listeria.
Listeria.
Oh,
You
wow.
know,
Yeah.
In
it-
United States?
yeah, yeah.
Really?
Hey, look that up. It just happened. I think the news broke just like 7 days ago. I only just heard about it today.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's just amazing that 10 million pounds is enough to feed almost everybody in America at least one meal.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of meat, right?
Probably purposely done. God
And
knows.
well, that's the conspiracy, but regardless, yeah, because it was so egregious that they were like, oh, we will never get away with this. We got to recall it. But
Right.
but even if it was an accident or poor management or whatever it was, it's 10 million pounds of meat.
Wow. That's
And
a
it, went-
lot.
and it was and it went out from everywhere. It's like in Trader Joe's and Costco,
Oh,
everywhere.
wow.
Yeah, so there's a list of all the meats. You should probably look that up. So this is a PSA to anybody who
Yeah.
watches this later or is watching it now. Just look it up. Just use the number 10 million pounds of meat recall, and you'll find articles on it. And they have like links to PDF files that you can download with all the different products that might be uh, affected.
Right.
The Booker, what's the in the chat there?
But I think what's interesting though is that we need to all this information. What you're really saying is we need to be cooking at home and eating whole food and being aware of what it is that we're putting in our bodies, and we can control that by the range-free chicken and whatever else we can do to do our best to when we're cooking at home, we're not cooking with preservatives, we're controlling the fats, we're controlling additives, and we're using proper spicing and things that are natural and that are right and that are better for us. That is what we need to be looking at and paying attention to.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The more you take what goes into your body into your own hands, the more control you have to bring it to a more favorable outcome. Absolutely.
Yep.
So we had someone put in the chat a link to a Safe School Meals Act. And I guess it's something being proposed. There we go. I'll let Tim himself introduce it.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yes, this bill, I'm quite impressed with it. It was introduced by Cory Booker, who's our U.S. Senator here in New Jersey. And I think it would definitely be of interest to everybody based on this conversation. It's called the the Safe School Meals Act. And the goal is to protect children from harmful toxics in school meals. The bill would place limits on heavy metals, excuse me, ban certain pesticide residues, trigger the safety reassessment of food additives, including artificial dyes that have been linked with health harms, ban the use of PFAs, phthalates, bisphenols in school meal food packaging. And the bill would increase funding available for schools to purchase safe meals. It goes on to talk about testing. An advocacy group tested 43 public school lunches from 15 states and found all kinds of terrible,
That's horrible.
yeah, the normal stuff that you would expect. So it goes on to basically talk about what the conversation here is about, but it is definitely an attempt, at least at the national legislative level, to address this with the young people. So I think it's a positive.
Yeah,
And
it is.
anything that,
It's good to hear. I'm actually surprised.
yeah, anything,
Mhm.
yeah.
Bisphenols are from plastic, like
Okay,
contained in plastic. The bisphenol A and whatever.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
a toxics.
it's
It comes.
about time.
It's hard to get away from it. I mean, everything comes in big plastic, especially when you're talking about on an industrial scale, like a school. It comes in big plastic vats, and
Absolutely.
you almost everything gets transported that way. And even if you get tin cans, it's lined with plastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. We shop at a beautiful organic grocery store that we have here, and the vegetables are marvelous. It's called Mom's Organic, and most of the vegetables come from an organic farm cooperative out near Lancaster in Pennsylvania, and so it's all locally grown, wonderful food. But then you walk through the store, and the amount of plastic that's used in packaging is almost worse than the sort of non-organic stores that we go into. It's so extreme, and I can't understand. I guess maybe I just have to talk to the management or something and give them a wake-up call. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard to get away from it. I mean, if they're going to go something that's more organic and has less preservatives within the food, they're going to do a little bit more like vacuum packaging and stuff to preserve the food without it, without using the pesticide or the preservatives.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm not going to make excuses for them or the packaging industry. It's just it just seems that it it's a trade-off, and the only thing you can do is do like me. That I'm getting to the point where if I can't grow it and kill it, I'm not eating it.
Mhm, mhm.
You know?
Well, all the more reason for you to find out who your organic farmers are in your neighborhoods, and you know what? Um, Go and purchase from them and encourage them to continue what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, while we're speaking of, you brought up Lancaster. Lancaster is home of the Amish. For anybody that's on the phone that doesn't know that, it's one of the biggest Amish communities in America, but it's right here in our backyard in Lancaster. And they've been getting persecuted pretty bad. The USDA is coming in and giving them crap and trying and throwing out all their meats because they do things safe and clean their own way, and they ask their customers, how would you like your meat done? Do you mind if we butcher it here, or would you rather that we send it to a USDA plant? Well, that got to be cumbersome, especially during COVID, because they had to list their cows for butchering almost a year in advance. Like who would know exactly a year in advance when your cows are ready? So they do things when nature calls, right?
Mhm.
So they were doing that, and of course there's other people that get in trouble for selling raw milk, which is actually really, really healthy for you. If you're going to drink milk, drink raw milk, that kind of thing. But in fact, we had a farm. I actually volunteered on this farm, and my son worked there, and it was a goat farm, a dairy goat farm. And she was compliant with all the paperwork for the USDA, and she was allowed to sell raw goat milk on her property, and they still came and hassled her,
Oh.
and threw out all her milk at one time, and it was fine. There's no problems with it. She gets it tested regularly, and everything's clean. I mean, I worked there. I saw everything. I saw the farm. So it's very hard. They're making it difficult for the organic farmers. There's even an article I just read that was that I believe it was the WEF, but you can look it up and correct me if I was wrong. They're saying that having your own garden in your backyard contributes to climate change. They're saying that it contributes more than if you don't. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. All my plants make oxygen. Every single one of them that the dirt makes oxygen. None of them make CO2. And all my fertilizer is compost that I made right here on my property from everything that I picked up off the ground on my property. So my fertilizer certainly isn't adding to the issues that you might get from petroleum-based type fertilizers, right? So yeah, there's a war going on
Yeah.
our food system.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm so lucky because I'm in Southern Ontario, and of course, and we're heavy Amish Mennonite groups, and so I'm very lucky to have the context of the farmers that are organically with the wheat and all everything that's grown, as well as the animals too that are raised in without any hormones and less antibiotics and things like that. So it's really nice to be able to buy direct from them.
Yeah. Another thing that's going on in the meat industry is there's really only 4 or so huge packer plants. So where they take the cows and pigs and whatnot to be slaughtered and whatnot. Like Cargill is a big one. I forget the other ones. Anyway, they're making these ranchers tag all their animals with like an RFID tag, and they're making it very, very hard for them to make a living because they drive down the prices that they're willing to pay for the cows. Right? They pay by the pound, and they're monopolizing and making it very, very hard for farmers, ranchers to make any money. Even if they butchered it themselves, and there's less and less small processing people like little butcheries and whatnot. So that's a whole nother thing. And side note, cows don't fart. They belch, but they don't fart. They're 7 stomachs. They doesn't, that's the rancher will tell you. So that whole
cook at home, grow at home.
and the other thing that's happening with these ranchers is they're being forced to vaccinate with mRNA vaccines. So it's hard to get away from mRNA.
Ranchers and farmers should like create the businesses based on PMA, not private member association, instead of doing LLC or anything like that, because when they register their business under PMA,
right, it's a membership.
It's a membership that government has no right to interfere in their farming.
Oh.
In the way they process their animals, or because it's different form of registration of the business. Yeah.
We even thought about that for Beat Cancer. Instead of being a nonprofit organization, we could be a PMA.
Yeah.
More freedoms.
You get more freedom on that part. Yes.
Yeah. So if anything catastrophic ever happens to us as a nonprofit, we'll become a PMA.
Right. I know for sure if I go to a big business. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm sure I'm pissing off YouTube right now, big time.
It's quiet today, my goodness.
Is there anything
No,
coming in online, Zach? Any comments?
No,
Whatever.
no, we have a couple people coming in and out on Instagram or Facebook, but no comments.
'Cause I
No
got
comments or
more.
questions being posed.
I got more. I'm on a rampage.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, unless anyone on our call, we've got plenty of people on our call. We'd love to hear what's new with anyone. If anyone has any topics that they've looked into recently, anything that they'd like to chat about or that they have going on, relevant to, of course, health and healing. And if not, I'll just tell Carl to keep going.
Well, Carl, I have a good question for you.
Sure.
And I think the biggest thing for me is that it's wonderful because we're in harvest season now, but we have winter upon us.
Yeah.
And so now you're not going to have that availability of fruits and vegetables that are fresh.
Right.
What are you doing and what do you advise for people that are now having to go to the stores and purchase fruits and vegetables and things that are packaged, and what suggestions can we make for them?
I would advise learn a little bit about food storage. So like potatoes and stuff you can get, and they'll last easy 6 months, no problems. Just keep them in your basement or someplace that's cool and dry. Carrots, same thing. Apples, actually, there's a bunch of different types of apples that store real well. I don't know which ones are better than the other ones, but you can actually store them in sawdust. Like just pack them in a little can with sawdust, and they'll stay good all winter. All winter, they'll stay fresh.
Cancer is so easily cured.
Sorry.
I would also look into learning a little bit about pickling. I just pickled a bunch of peppers,
Mhm.
hot peppers. That was fun. That was an experience for me, and also too, I'm looking in water bathing and canning.
Canning, yep.
Yeah.
Now I have
Yeah.
chickens, so I didn't run into an abundance of eggs. This is my first year, but next spring, all my pullets will be old enough to have eggs, so I'll have probably twice the amount of egg production, which will be more than I can personally eat. And there's a way of water bathing with them, but it's not the same type of water bathing. You're not putting it in a boiling pot. It's water and a lime or something like that, a food grade lime. And you just don't wash them off right out of the bottom of the chicken.
Mhm.
Put them in. They have what's called plume around the egg. In fact, I don't refrigerate any of my eggs. They just sit right on the counter. They'll stay fresh for weeks just like that. But you can put them in to this water, and you can. I mean, there's people that say they last 2 years.
Right. I've heard that too.
Water and the way you
Yeah.
know they're bad, they start to float. The floaty ones, you throw them out, you throw them into the compost pile. Right? You don't even have to open them up. But I would look into water bathing, which is a way of canning. I would look into
Mhm.
pressure canning. I would look into pickling and any type of fermenting. Fermenting your
Yeah.
food and pickling is very, very good for you,
Mhm.
especially fermenting.
Yeah.
I would look into any of your root stock, like potatoes, carrots, turnips, parsnips, anything like that, that can be stored right in your basement. Just keep it cool and dark, and aerated. So like don't put them in a plastic bucket with a lid. Um,
Mm-mm.
if you can, get a little wooden box, a grated box. You can find those anywhere, or even the cardboard boxes that have holes in the side. When you go to Costco, they have a bunch of boxes there to say you can carry your stuff out to your car or whatever. You can just get boxes there that have the holes in the side, just some way to get air in there.
Right.
But that's what I would suggest is learn a little bit about food preservation, and all of these things, by the way, you can do without a refrigerator or a freezer.
Yep.
Right? So if you ever run into a situation like they ran into in North Carolina, the people that still have a house, if they had food preserved, they wouldn't need the electricity. They'd have either cooked and just heated up ready food, or they would have food they could just pull right out of box and wash it off and eat it right there like that.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of those people did know that. A lot of them are hillbilly stock. You know, they were they just weren't prepared for their house to be swept away.
I think even though if they knew or they had food preserve, it just
Right.
got washed off
Yeah, it was
by the hurricane. Yeah,
I'm not
And-
saying they should have been better prepared. That's not what I'm saying at all.
right. Yeah,
I'm saying if you run into a situation where you're out of electricity for a few days or a week, it's better than having your whole refrigerator dump. I mean, I had a refrigerator die just this past summer, and I lost whatever $600 worth of food.
right.
You know?
It's not the people in North California were supposed to be prepared for hurricane. I think the government were supposed to be prepared to help people immediately after.
Yeah, that was a huge debacle. It's still a debacle, and
Yeah,
it's already falling out of the news cycle. You know, it's what's Pete
Right.
doing too. You know, they don't just like all of a sudden they don't. I just met 2 days ago with some guys that we got together, and we got 3 tractor trailers of supplies going down.
wow. Deborah doesn't live that too far from there, right? That
No, I don't. I live right on the South Carolina, North Carolina border in Clover. And where, as a matter of fact, we're gathering items again. This is our winter clothing run for the folks up in North Carolina,
Yeah,
Black Mountain. Yeah, further up. Yeah.
yeah.
Where there is
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, literally, they're living in tents, and now it's snowing. So it's the
Oh
temperature
wow.
changing now. So yeah, it's devastating. Incredibly, it would blow
Yeah.
your mind. I mean,
How many times I
yeah.
call these stories online? It's just terrible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question, Deb. I have like tons of clothes that I could donate, like sitting in a garage. Like, do you know where I can send it to? Where I can ship because I don't want to ship to places where they're not going to get delivered.
Right.
I
Well,
think Samaritan's First is probably a good big one. That one,
Samaritan's Purse is a big one right now that's doing
Okay.
good
that's
work.
doing a lot of really good stuff. We were supporting Operation Airdrop
Mm,
when it first, on that Saturday, the next Saturday. And so we did a lot of support with them and for them. So that was good because we really wanted to know that the people were going to get the
right.
goods and get it quickly. And so we did that. So now we've made some really good contacts. My husband's made some really good contacts up there, and that's who we keep in contact. And so we know what they need, and we will go out and gather those items and stuff, and then we put a big truck together and off we go and bring up as much as we can.
Oh,
About
yeah.
once a week. hmm Yeah.
Uh,
And Maya, if you wanted, you could always send it to us and we can get it up there.
Yeah,
So
I'll
if you
get you.
didn't want it a big, easily do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll make
I'll get your address. I'll ship it out to you, and then you just take it there. Yeah, we
absolutely
have a lot of stuff. I have like some pillows, blankets that we don't use.
priceless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Okay.
would be great. Yeah. Because they literally have nothing. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
none.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe that's something I can do. I can see what's going on here in Southern Ontario and reach out to my friends and area and see if there's something we can do to send stuff down as well, because it all
Right.
helps.
uh,
And that's
oh,
how
it does.
you
Yeah.
know, we can get together and work together and support
Right.
one another. Yes.
Yeah. That has truly been amazing. The communities coming together and helping. I've never seen anything like it. They didn't
Yeah.
wait for anybody else
Good.
to come in and save the
Yeah.
day. It was like immediate. It was like, we got this, we got this. Very amazing. Over 60 personal helicopters, private helicopters and aircraft were coming in, and they were
Wow.
gathering as much stuff, and they would lift it straight into the mountainous areas to anybody that needed it up there. And they were doing drops, literally dropping goods so that people could get to it because there's no way to get to them. That was the only way to deliver any medical supplies and things like that they would
Wow.
need.
I see them packing up mules and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
ATVs, mules, horses. People were hiking in. Yeah. Yeah.
Did
It
any
really
roads
feeds the
got?
American spirit. It really does.
Yeah.
and the resilience of people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any roads got open, or the roads still?
There are some roads that are open. Ashland actually just got water. I think it was yesterday for the very first time, so they've got water now flowing.
Okay. Okay.
But you know, to everywhere else, it's just going to take a long time. It's going
Right.
to take a
We're just
while.
lost out.
They're building roads, makeshift roads right now, and those are from the people that live up there, you know, and just people coming in and you know offering their services, their machinery, you know, and just doing what they
Yeah.
can and putting makeshift roads in just to get you know supplies and everything up there and to just try and get something going for them.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
But
while.
Yeah,
it is going to be a while.
I can't even imagine how long that's going to take to get everything back to a semblance of normal.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Well, we'll never be the same for
Yeah.
sure, you know,
Right.
but they'll build it back up.
Yeah.
There's
As
no
long
doubt.
as as long as
Resiliency
people,
is there.
yeah, I hope like as long as people won't leave their areas, just stay in their
Yeah,
areas.
right, right.
Yeah, that would be
Hmm.
big part because the whole thing, I think, emptying the area and taking over, like if people won't give up on that,
Yeah.
then
Well, you know, you have generations of people that have been there, you know, I
yeah,
mean, they've been there for generations. So I can't imagine them just up and leaving. And,
right.
you know, I would definitely see it being rebuilt. You know,
Hmm.
it was just an incredible deluge of water. I've never seen it rain. I was born and raised in Seattle. So, you know, and I thought I'd
Get a
seen
lot of
rain.
rain.
I have not seen rain like that before. I mean, it was for, 72 hours straight. I mean, it just poured rain. And
Wow.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, amazing.
Crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy things. We're like we were vacationing in Manitoba Beach in Florida a few years ago, and the last hurricane, Milton, my son sent a video. He goes like, "This is where you were vacationing. There's nothing left in the area from this last hurricane. Nothing. Entire like island. I mean, like peninsula got destroyed.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a Venice city. Not a little south of Sarasota. Disaster, he said.
Oh, I did. My sister
Uh,
said it's a disaster.
Disaster, yeah.
And their home is in Northport. And
Northport, yeah. That's what my son has a house. And
yeah,
then they have a house in Inglewood. So they got very fortunate this time. Very
they did.
fortunate because the elevation, they're like 8 feet above sea level, and they got fortunate on that part.
Mm.
But they were getting like areas were getting about 8 to 10 feet of water. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was watching CNN and seeing all those, the reporter there, right there on the beach that I had done all those walks in Bradenton, and because I mean, I was so close to the Bradenton beach and the walkway, and I was
Yeah.
amazed to see some of the damage all along Siesta Keys and that
Yeah.
whole area where it
Right.
hit. And
Yeah.
just, wow, it's my favorite beach.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that
I
and
know.
Indian Shores, and it's going to be a huge cleanup. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son's wife and her parents, I mean, they born and grew up in Florida. They said they never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
since Ian, Helene, and
Yeah.
Milton, these three hurricanes, they said they never seen anything like that in the history of living there.
And just one right after the other, it's just like they barely recovered now again, and
Right.
now there's another one coming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tornado. And the tornadoes that came along with Milton.
Yes, 20 tornadoes. There were over 20 tornadoes.
Yeah, they were huge. They weren't little ones
Yeah.
either. They were big.
Yeah.
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 very
Yeah.
angry,
Sadly.
angry storm.
I know.
Perfect storm. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left, so we'll do one last health topic while my tinfoil hat is on for the evening.
I had a request for next week maybe we can talk about recurrence. And the reason I'm asking this because it's something I'm going through now, and having to deal with it again, and those feelings that come back, and those insecurities, and even though we're cancer coaches, we have to face it too.
Right.
It happens.
Absolutely.
But most certainly, as I'd like to hear anyone else who has recurrence and how they've dealt with it.
Mm.
Well, we've got 7 minutes right now if you want to talk a little bit.
Are you open to talk about it, Catherine?
Yeah.
Okay.
What can I say? I'm a little bit in shock, but yeah. But I haven't been feeling well for a few months, which is why I've kind of just laid low. And and
Reoccurrence in which part?
my breast, and I've got a lump on my collarbone.
Oh, okay.
So then that's being investigated. They don't know if it's infection or if that's bone.
Didn't you have a double mastectomy?
Yes, and 2%. They told me 98% chance you'll never get cancer again.
So did you do a biopsy?
Well, the problem is that they did put 2 markers in because the first marker didn't catch it, and so they tried another marker and when they did the sampling, and it happens, shit happens, but the markers were never in the sample. Well, and they never found the cancer.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so it's never ever been tested. Although I've had the blood testing, so I know. Yeah, but still it's and now 6 years later, I'm starting to have symptomology. And it's frustrating because as a healthcare professional, it's like, oh, not again. But and I'm quite sure they caught it. It's just that, it gets missed in the lab or whatever. That's fine. And the markers are whatever happened to them. But most certainly you think, wow, like again.
Yeah.
And the fear, is it worse, is better, and the hard thing is still going back into the system and getting your foot back in the door, because they had already dismissed you back to your family physician, right? And so now you have to start all over again. And it feels like it takes forever.
Yeah, I know. Well, I went through reoccurrence. That 5 years later, I went through a reoccurrence. It's shocking, of course, it's very shocking, but again, look, it's been 9 years, I'm here, right? After reoccurrence.
I can do this.
Yeah, of course you can do it.
And I got a whole community behind me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Different this time. Not so alone.
Yeah, we'll help you, Catherine. Most important than not let yourself to get loose in terms of the fear and because you're more knowledgeable now than you were first time.
Well, and you know what? I think that's the one thing that helps me be a little more emotionally controlled this time.
Yeah.
Because I have this information from BeatCancer.org, and I have I've learned so much more just being part of this program. And I remember for the first time hearing Dr. Zubin talk about mistletoe treatment and going, what? And and having to do all the research on it. And so I know now that there are things I need to do and sources I can go to start to look at how I can get reintegrated into integrative medicine, not just medicine and surgery.
Right.
And so I thank God I have the knowledge that I've been provided because of BeatCancer.
Yeah. I don't know if you recently been on Telegram or not. I shared some papers on Telegram.
The chat group.
Just like last week, I believe so. I shared some papers on Telegram, so go look it up.
Okay.
Okay.
It's an excellent article on mammograms and breast cancer, and
Right.
yeah, it's an outstanding article. It really
Right.
is some really good information and a
There's
lot
a-
of things that I'm going to take and do some more research on myself.
I'm totally gonna be using that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, go look it up. There's a lot of things in there.
Thanks.
there.
Thanks, Mia. I'll do
You're
that.
welcome. Yeah,
Catherine,
welcome.
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. It's hard.
it's
It's
hard.
hard.
It's hard.
But we're here. We're your family, and anything that we can do to do more research for you as well, let me know. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October of 22. So I've had a full, a journey with that myself, and just, so yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
There's
Definitely warrior.
I'm gonna tell you, compared to even last year to this year, there's so much information. There's so much stuff coming out. My head is like
Yes.
spinning by learning a lot of stuff. So
You can't learn it all. It's just it's coming in
it's
droves.
yeah, it's impossible to learn, but all these informations are very positive informations. It's a lot of light in a dark tunnel. I would say there's a lot of stuff out there that is like don't put the negative thoughts on your mind, because there's so much you can do. It's just impossible.
Well,
It's hard
I'll
even to
keep you posted.
imagine. Yeah,
As
how
I
much you can
go
do.
and as I have questions, I will ask and I'll let
Yes,
you
please,
know. And
please, yeah,
I know you guys will help me deal with this.
big time. We
That's
all
exactly
here.
what we're here
Absolutely.
for. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll end on that note. Certainly, Catherine, if you want to call the center and you want to talk to Randy, she's available as well.
Who?
Dr. Randy Shane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to talk to her, she's available. She's awesome.
Yeah.
that's a really good idea.
But
Yeah.
get onto the Telegram too, and there's a lot of stuff going on there where we talk about things that we can't necessarily talk on YouTube about. So
Right.
yeah, check into the Telegram group. It's a great resource.
Yeah.
And we have to end it. I'm the bearer of bad news, but it is 8 o'clock, and for the coaches that have time and are willing, we'll see you on the coaches only call and at 8:15.
And it's my bedtime, so I'm keeping myself
Okay.
happy and getting lots of sleep.
Yes,
Lots
we'll
of
get some
sleep.
rest. Yeah.
Good
Bye,
night,
Catherine.
guys.
Good
All right,
night.
See you
Bye,
later.
everyone.
bye now.
Bye.